now the thing is that, in parasitic nutrition, remember in plants we had studied cuscuta plant, which are those yellow colored amarbel, which always twines around in and around the other host plant. Yes, Unmana, you remember we had a lot of discussion on this. Yes. So basically, even in animals, there are these parasites, right? Now, these parasitic mode of nutrition, they do not eat, they do not cook and eat like human beings. They don't hunt for their food. What do? They derive nutrition from the host. Now there are, for example, uh, uh, most of the children you will find they'll have worms inside their stomach. Hookworms, roundworms, tapeworms, right? And every year the doctors would give them deworming agents to deworm them. Deworming tablets, right? Because whenever children they pick up food from the floor, especially with infants, what do? When they get the teething, they have new teeth, they pick up new things from the floor. They will not wash anything, they're too small. They'll put their toys into their mouth. So there's a lot of bacteria, there's a lot of actually eggs of worms that goes inside their stomach. And once those worms eggs goes into the stomach, it reaches the stomach into the small intestine, it grows into a larva and then a very long.
Do the insects in the stomach increase?
Of course it increases the amount, because that will also grow. Once it grows in size, that will also lay eggs. So one hookworm, one roundworm may lay almost 30-40 eggs. Just imagine. In no time the stomach will be full of worms. That's the reason why you should always wash your food before you eat. Whenever you touch something, you should always wash your hands, because unknowingly these are all microscopic organisms, we don't get to see them. So what will happen, if the child has those deworming tablets, all the worms in the stomach will die. And then what does this worm do basically? All the milk that the baby is drinking, all the food, fruits, dal, chawal, whatever the child is eating, the worm eats all the food. The worm takes out all the nutrition. Then what happens? The child is not getting. The mother is thinking, "Arey, मैं बच्चे को इतना खिला रही हूँ. I'm feeding my child so much. I give him so much of protein, so much of milk, so much egg. But why is my child still losing weight? And his tummy is growing so big." The reason is the child has got a lot of worms inside the stomach, and the worms are eating all the food, and the worms are growing in size and laying eggs and then growing rapidly, and the child is getting nutrition deficiencies, and then the child will have a lot of problems.
Ma'am?
Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, why do they say that if we eat too much sugar, then we get worms? Because they eat all the food, right? So why do generally doctors say that don't eat so much sweet, so otherwise we will get worms in our stomach?
See, there are a couple of reasons. One is that sugar is a direct food for the worms. If every healthy human being has one or two worms, which is okay. 1 or 2 worms is okay. Over a period of time that will stay, that will go, whatever. But if it is more than 2, 3, 4, then this sugar goes to those worms and they will eat on these sugar and they will grow in size. That is one. And the second thing is that most of the time, there are many people who eat spoon after spoon of sugar. But sugar is actually made out of sugar cane, right? Which is not actually processed that well, which is not cleaned that well. Over a period of time, there's a lot of eggs which are being laid on the sugar granules. That's the reason why doctors ask direct sugar, don't have direct sugar. That might cause worms in the stomach. That's a food. That's a direct food for the worms. Right? Now, if we discuss about parasites, parasitic mode of nutrition are of two types. One is ecto, one is endo. What is the meaning of ecto? Yes?
Ma'am, and the worms die? Like because of deworming they do, but can the body fight the worms and they just die?
No, No, the body cannot find. Unfortunately, Anna, that's a very intelligent question. The body cannot fight the worms because, our body is not acquainted, or our body is not prepared that way. In case, I'll tell you how does our body fight. I'll just get a little diverted. Why, every child has vaccination. You also must have had
Yes, so that's
vaccination.
why I got this doubt. Like,
Yeah, so you've got
because see,
vaccination.
in the vaccination, it's like the dead virus goes, so your body has the immunity to fight the virus. Then
Exactly,
why not
correct.
for these?
For example, when we were children, all of us had got polio vaccine. Live germs of polio were injected into the vaccine, into our body. So now if, we come in contact with polio germs so many times, but do we get polio? No. Why? Because our body is prepared to fight the polio vaccines. But we didn't have a vaccine for worms. Right, and they are like too big. They are just like another animal, another insect. So we have not designed a vaccine. At best, what we can have is a deworming tablet. We have to have a tablet. We have to have a chemical or a medicine to kill the worms. Once we get to know that we have worms, and also as a routine, many of parents every 6 months they give deworming tablets to the children just like that till the age of 10 years. Correct? Okay, now we come to ecto. Ecto means
Ma'am, can I
outside.
tell?
Yeah, please do.
Ma'am,
I would love.
ecto means external or outside, and endo means inside or like internal.
Excellent, very good. So basically, ecto means which lives outside the body. Right? What are the examples mentioned here? Lice, bedbugs, ticks, and leeches. What is lice? Yes, Karthik?
Ma'am, can mosquito come in ectoparasite?
Yes, mosquito is also an ectoparasite because it lives on our blood. It doesn't stay inside our body, but it stays outside. It comes from outside. From our skin, it has the blood and goes away. It has its own place to stay. Ma'am, so do you think that our bodies can fight against? Of course, Bhavya. We just need to, it depends on who has got a strong immunity. Anybody who has got a strong immunity can fight the coronavirus. But people, normally old people, have got very weak immunity. So it will be difficult for them to fight. So that's the reason why worldwide scientists are getting ready to prepare a vaccine for coronavirus. So what is that? They will inject live coronavirus germs into us so that our body has those antibodies to fight the germ. We'll be even more
Ma'am,
immune.
scientists are trying to find a like the find the vaccine from the bat, because the bat has antibodies that can fight against coronavirus.
Correct. And even Russia, they tried to find out a vaccine, right, for coronavirus. But then again, they've also tried, on 100 people for coronavirus vaccine. But it's not time tested yet, right? Because they say that it takes almost 12 months to 18 months to develop a vaccine, right? So it is too early. It is just 6 months. So that's why they're just wondering if this is a right vaccine or not, right? Old people have fought against it 0.19%. Yes, because I'm sure they would have had a strong immunity power. They must have exercised enough. They must have had good amount of vitamin. They must have had balanced food. Only then. Okay, going back to ecto and endoparasites. So basically, if you see lice, if you go to villages, you will find, a few ladies will keep on itching their head. What does that mean? They have lice, head lice on their hair. What the text box? Yeah. So basically, human being is the host, right? And lice is the parasite. So in a parasitic mode of nutrition, there are two parties involved. One is the host, the other one is the parasite or the guest, right? In this case, lice is a parasite. It stays outside. Also leeches. I don't know how many of you have seen leeches, but if you go to very dense forest, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, and leeches suck up and they hold on to our skin really tightly. We have to either heat our skin, like let go, let go, like leave our skin, or we have to kill it.
Correct. Or else you put a handful of salt in it. Then the leech
Yeah.
will just leech will just fall off. Or else you pour some, antiseptic Dettol, some alcohol related thing on it. It will just fall
Ma'am,
off.
even heat, ma'am, hot, gas kind of thing. Anything which is really hot, like damn hot, then we can just put it. So then it will due to the heat, it will fall down due to the pressure.
Correct. So basically leeches are, they actually survive on our blood. That is the food. If they do not get our blood, they will not survive. Similarly, ticks. People who have pets would be aware of ticks. Ticks are like
especially dogs.
I'm on the dogs, ma'am.
Yeah, especially the dogs. They have a
Almost like lice.
It's almost like lice. Human beings have lice and dogs have ticks. And it's
but they grow big, ma'am. They look dangerous. They look scary.
dangerous and they are extremely annoying to the pets. Especially,
yes, ma'am, they look creepy.
Ma'am, can you repeat the name? Just
Parasites are lice, leeches.
No, ma'am, like about the dogs. The dogs have.
The dogs,
What do you call it?
The dogs, especially, who have thick fur. The more the fur, more the ticks. That's the reason why the owners of the pets will always keep them clean and keep on combing them and keep on finding if there are any ticks or not, because the dogs feel really annoying. They can't even itch properly. The ticks irritate them so much, and it draws a lot of blood from the dogs, from the pets. It's very irritating. So all these parasites stay outside the body. That's why they are all ectoparasite, right? Now there are a few which live inside the host. Inside the host. So inside the host will be endo. What? Endoparasite. Like we discussed, hookworm, roundworm, right? These are all worms which stays inside. Not only human beings have these worms, even some animals, pigs, have a lot of these worms. Why? Because pigs are always eating, from the garbage, from the drain, from the dustbin. Dogs will have a lot of worms because they're always eating from, if not always from dirty places, but the pigs have the maximum number of worms in their stomach. That's the reason why most of them do not eat pork. Because pork.
Even humans. Ma'am, even humans who eat, like, who have the habit of eating soil or, sand, they also have many things in their stomach.
Correct. Now, see, this is very interesting. Mosquito itself, is a parasite, but then again, there is a germ. Malarial parasite lives inside the mosquito, right? So here the mosquito is a host and the malarial parasite is the, that's a bacteria, or maybe that's a protozoa basically, that lives inside the mosquito. So that is the parasite here. Okay. So we have covered parasites, we have covered scavengers. Now we come to saprotroph. What is the meaning of sapro? Sapro means dead. Dead organic matter. That is the meaning of sapro. And troph.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, are saprotrophs like are they same to are they equal to scavengers, like both, like, sorry, not scavengers, decomposers?
Yes.
Like both of them.
Yes.
Both of them from dead and decaying matter.
Decayed organic matter, right?
Yeah.
So, and troph. What is the meaning of troph? We studied this for plant nutrition. Troughs means
preparing. No, wait. Ma'am, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Right? Trophy. Trophy means to eat, to derive nutrition. Correct? So example for this is earthworm. You will always find earthworm in the soil. What do what do earthworms thrive on? Earthworms thrive on, again, dead and decaying matter. For example, all the rotten food that's there, all the dead matter that's there in the soil, once it starts decomposing and becomes a little granular, then the earthworm will start thriving on it, will derive its nutrition from it. Okay. So with this, we have completed all the modes of nutrition.